CenterPoint allows you to print your receipt at the time that you save that transaction or email the receipt. After the transaction is posted, you are also allowed to reprint the receipt or resend the email. We're going to go through different ways to do that. First of all, let's bring up a receipt and we're going to enter a quick receipt. This can be a receipt that's a cash receipt or a receipt of open receivables. The process is the same if you're going to be printing or emailing this receipt. So we're going to enter a quick entry here. And that's all the information we need. When we selected this customer, if we look at the icons in the lower left, the print icon indicates a red X. That means the default on this particular customer was set to not print. If we wanted to print this receipt, we could switch that, change it to print invoice receipt. It's going to go to our default printer, which we could change at this point if we needed to, number of copies, and the form that is for the receipt. If we wanted to email this particular receipt, the email icon already indicates that the email address has been set up for this particular customer. There are a couple of things that have to be in place in order to email receipts. First of all, for you as the sender, we have to have the information set up under File, Preferences, Email Setup, and then click Email Setup. Click the Database tab at the right, and this information for your server needs to be set up. If you don't know this information, you might want to talk to your internet provider. If you click this little question mark in the lower right, that will bring up a help document that describes each one of these fields, which might help you. A lot of these pieces of information that fill in are the default information, but if there are some required login, user passwords that you need, you'll have to find that out. You'll then put in your email address that you are going to use as you, the sender, and then click Test, and that will send you an email indicating that the setup of the sender information is correct. Once you have that done, there are other forms here that you can set some defaults on. So receipts is one of them, and you can set the default subject that you want in here when you send a receipt and any kind of message that just alleviates you having to fill that in every time you email a receipt. Once you're done with that, you can click Save, and the other side that has to be done is for the person you're sending it to. So in your once you click your customer, if your email button has a red X, that will indicate that it hasn't been filled out yet in the customer name. So you can click your mouse in the Receive From field, right-click, and choose Edit. That will take you to the detail of this particular name. Click the Email Print button. This is where you can fill in the name that you're sending it to, that person's email address, and then there is a column for all the different forms that can be emailed within CenterPoint, receipts being one of them. And on each one of these forms, if you want to use the email option, you'd click the down arrow and pick that you want to do the send to or a carbon copy or a blind carbon copy. So we've selected send to on receipts for this particular name. Down at the bottom are the print options. Print receipts is set at no. That's why our print came in with a red X. If you wanted to always set to print a receipt for this particular name, then you could switch this to yes. And then you would click Save when you're finished, and that will update that name. So at this point, when we click Save, it's going to both print a receipt and send an email to this particular customer. On the email that it sends, it's going to attach a PDF document, and when the customer opens up that PDF, it'll look just like the receipt that you have printed. We're going to click Save, and you'll see the message come up saying that it's printed, and that is now in our posted transactions. Once it's posted, if we need to resend the email because perhaps the customer didn't get it, or we need to reprint the receipt, you can go up to Processes, and then Sales, and Print Email Receipts. The first time you come into this form, it's going to be blank. We need to set a filter. So we're going to click the Filter button and select our company. And we're going to select a date. We're just going to say this month is fine. And that's all you need to do at this point. We're going to click Save and give this a name of CenterPoint Receipts. Okay, and that now displays all the receipts that have been entered to this company in this month. At this point, we can select which ones we want to reprint by putting a check mark. There's buttons on the bottom if we wanted to do check all, uncheck all. But if we just wanted to reprint this particular one, then we can select that. We can check which printer is set up if we're going to print. We can check the email information if we need to change that. And we're ready to click email if we want to resend the email, or if we want to just print, then we can click the print button. And if we click that, it's about to do printing and sending our email. And we can click OK, and it did both processes from the screen. That doesn't make an audit trail. That simply reprints our document or resends that email. We can close out of here. There's another way that you can reprint. You can do that from search. So if we brought up all the entries in search that we have and we wanted to reprint one of these, we can right-click and reprint from here or from one of our transaction screens. So if we go to one of our report screens, if we go to a report and do perhaps a receipts journal and bring up that report, we can edit one of these. And if we bring this up, if this is check marked again to print with a green check mark, when we resave it, it's going to print again. So those are several ways that you can print or reprint email or resend your email with your receipt transactions in CenterPoint.